Peace. What's going on? Hey, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Most importantly, comment down below. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your time. Most importantly, I appreciate your opinion. That's why I'm doing this. I do this for y'all. So, this video is entitled, I Am Not Black. I'm not black. You see, what's unfortunate is that the name that we have taken on is a name that we have been given. Um, Specifically given by people who not only do not know us, but they decide to address us by what they deem us and what we look like to them, right? So, hence Negro, hence black person, shit like that. So my point is that I'm not black. See, black is an adjective. So to call me black is just talking about what I look like. That's all it is. You're just implying the noun, and what the noun is dark. That's what I'm dark. That's what it is, right? So black is the perception of dark, right? So when it's dark outside, it's dark. When it's dark outside, it's dark. Dark. You can use it as an adjective, but it's only a noun. Obviously, you can use any word as an adjective, but it is a noun because if you say the night's dark, you're implying it to what noun? If you are using dark as the actual noun, you see what I'm saying? So if you say, man, it's dark outside, right? Yes, that is a description of the complexion of outside. You could use that, but my point is that is actually the noun of outside. It's black outside is actually the correct way to describe the darkness. You see, the darkness is the noun itself. Black is only the description of the darkness. But see, what people don't understand is the fact that I'm, we have been carrying around the name of not only the people who are oppressed, but then we've been carrying around a name that just only describes us and not actually says who we are. You see what I'm saying? So if you see a cow, we call it a cow. It's not because it looks like a cow. It's just because it is a cow, right? You don't call it a brown four-legger, right? Because just because it's brown, it's got four legs. You don't call it that, right? You call it a cow because that's what it is. But obviously, you can take cow and use that as an adjective. You can use any word as adjective. That girl looks cowish, like she's big, right, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can take any word and twist it, but it doesn't mean you're using it right. So my point is that for the people who call people black and for dark people who consider themselves black, understand that you are not even calling yourself what you actually are. All you're doing is calling yourself a description of what you are, which is not telling me or telling anybody who and what you are. A cow doesn't, it's like we don't, when you talk about you want to sell a cow, you don't just say, you say it's a cow. You don't say what it looks like. You say what it is, and then you describe what it looks like. So first we would say who we are, and then you describe what you are or what you look like. You see what I'm saying? So the adjective always comes after the noun because it implies the noun. So being called black, being called Negro, being called Moors is all descriptions of one thing, and that's dark people. But see, the thing is this: the reason why there's so many different um, names, dark, Negro, black, Moor, mulatto. You know what I'm saying? The reason why they decided to give us all these categories is because the reason why you create any type of category is because you want to do what? Split shit up. That's the only reason why. You want to split things up. You want to divide them. You want to separate them. So Indians in India, they black like me, but they're called Indians. Why are they called Indians? That's not describing what they look like, right? That's just describing where they live, right? But then black people in Africa, you call black people in Africa Africans, but then black people that leave Africa, they're not African anymore. And even the word Africa, that's not even ours too. That ain't even our shit too. The word Africa is not even ours too. The word Africa, and I mean obviously there's different. I've heard a few different reasons of why, but the main reason why, the consistent reason that I've read and found out that there was a Roman of the name of Scipio Africanus. And see, the thing about the Europeans is when they conquer something, they tend to name it after themselves because it's like the same concept of staking your claim with the flag. That's the same thing. It's the same concept. It's going, when I get here, I'm marking this as mine. You know what I'm saying? But then when you stake the flag in the claim, you are the representative of that flag, right? So it's the same concept of when you come over and conquer and take over somebody's shit, you name it after yourself. And so the word African is not even us. That's not even us. That's somebody else who took some shit over who was not even from Africa. You see what I'm saying? And I got a video coming up with the ancient names of Africa. And that's a whole nother video. But my point is, this one here is about how we are addressed, depicted, and perceived. And that is, we're perceived as the color black, as opposed to what we actually are, which is dark, melanated people. We're dark men, dark people. But see, if they called us dark people, we'd be one big ass group. That's why they call Hispanics and call them Latin over there. That's why they call them Jamaican over there. That's why they call them, there's all sorts of Aborigines over there. These are all one color people. These are all one color people. They're all actually dark. And this is the thing too. Black is a color. Look, this is what we're going to do. How about we go and check out old Merriam-Webster, since everybody likes to refer to him. So let's check him out real quick. Let's see what he's talking about. Since he is the man of language, right? Now, the definition of black, right? Of the color black. Of the color black. So that's the definition of black. Of the color black. It's not even mentioning the fact that it's implying, or it's the description or the adjective of dark. A black sweater, a black dog, as black as coal, very dark in color. So here we go again, using dark as an adjective when it's the actual noun. If something's very dark in color, so then it's implying what with that noun? It's very dark in color. Then what is it then? We know it's dark, but what is dark? What is dark? So my point is that that's actually the noun, but it's always being used as an adjective. But see, the reason why is because of who's using the word. That's the problem. Is that it's who's using the word. Is because the way they use the word is in a certain perception in the way of looking at it. Number one, it's always demonized. It's always vilified. Anything black is evil. Black mailed, black magic. You know what I'm saying? There's always a negative connotation to it. His face was black with rage. His face was black with rage. I don't think I've ever seen somebody's face turn black with rage. I've seen people's faces turn red with rage. My face don't turn blacker with rage. I don't even understand what Merriam-Webster talking about right there. But this is according to Merriam-Webster's English dictionary, and this is the English that people know right now, which is, like I said, is backwards as hell, because people are using nouns as main adjectives and then using adjectives as main nouns. That shit don't make no sense. Like, you don't call, if you see a red car, you don't call it red. You call it a goddamn car. It's a car. And then you describe what it looked like, right? Having a very deep or low register, a bass with a black voice. Having dark, here we go again with the adjective, having dark skin. It should be the perception of dark skin, not having dark, because they're using dark as an adjective again. But that's actually the black is the implication of dark. You fucking idiots. Anyway, uh, so that's my point, right? And then here's another. Let's see. Here is let's look up dark. Let's look up dark real quick. So now y'all see what I'm saying, right? They constantly keep using black and dark as the adjective, and they don't imply the noun, which is actually dark. Now let's look at the definition of dark. Dark, devoid or partially devoid of light, not receiving, reflecting, transmitting, or radiating light. Transmitting only a portion of light, which is completely ridiculous. That's what I'm saying. It's like they don't understand what that means. So, for example, in one of my videos that I just uploaded was I touched on melanin, which is actually what creates us, the dark pigmentation in our skin, the dark iris, the dark part of your eye, the freckles on people. Um, that's the dark hair, even blonde hair. Um, that is called melanin, right? And see what melanin does is it it's a molecular structure which receives information through light and sound energy. So for them here to say that something dark can only pull partial light, is partial devoid of light, like I said, is completely incorrect, because it actually pulls any light and all light with to it and in it. It sucks it all up. So for them to act like it doesn't, it just tells you what Merriam-Webster and all them, who they are, because of how they correctly define the color black and dark people, and calling dark people black, as opposed to specifying the fact that black is only the adjective of dark, and the fact that dark is actually the absorbance of all light and all sound. Not There's nothing partially devoided. It's actually everything is pulled in. So to back up what I'm saying, to back up these retarded ass definitions of black and this retarded ass definition of dark, is we're going to jump on here and we're going to look at what a black hole is, right? So we're going to go to the cosmos. So let's look at a black hole. A black hole is a place in space where gravity pulls so much that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. This can happen when a star is dying because no light can get out. So if they're saying no light can get out, is that saying light is outside? No, they're saying that they're implying the light's already inside, which is contradictory to this right here. This right here contradicts that. Merriam-Webster, you a contradicted player. Your 1828 old ass need to go back and learn the language, because being partially devoid of light is completely untrue when it comes to melanin, which I just broke down, which melanin is also the very true source of a black hole. Absolute, it's absolute melanin is what a black hole actually is. So my point is that dark is the noun, black is the perception and adjective of the noun dark. And anything dark in regards to is what grabs all light and sound energy and traps it and holds it. Well, obviously it doesn't just trap it forever, but it grabs it all. We don't know. I know what we do with it. I don't know what a black hole does with the energy, but I'd like to assume it does what we do with it, which is exuded back out in different forms of frequency. Now, because no light can get out, people can't see black holes. So just because you can't see the light does not mean it's not there, right? So if you go into some dark ass woods and you take a flashlight and I tell you to walk 300 yards in front of me, and I'm talking to you on a cell phone, I say, okay, shine that light and just keep running circles with that light, and I still don't see it, it doesn't mean it's not there. It means that the darkness of the woods has swallowed the light of that flashlight. That's what that means. So if that's exactly what a black hole does, is that it swallows, it absorbs all light and sound energy, because that's how this earth communicates. That's how this earth communicates any type of information. And this is invisible. Space telescopes with special tools can help find black holes. The special tools can see how stars that are very close to black holes act differently than other stars. So my point being is, going back to what I said, the fact that dark is the actual noun of what black is. So when you call someone black, you're not actually calling them for who and what they are. And then if you want to take it a step further and say, okay, they're not black, well, then they're African. Well, understand that African is still not calling them who they are, because when the place they call Africa was conquered, not only did they disregard their traditions, their names, and what they called themselves, they were categorized in color and then given borders and then told who and what they were and what gods to worship. So, and then what made it even worse is we we never said, it's like I'm okay, so it's like I'm dark, right? So if I see a white person, I don't walk up to him and go, "How you doing? I'm a dark man." No, it's the other way around, because the white person is looking at me and saying, "You are a dark man," right? So if a white person looks at me and says, "You're a dark man," then what obviously am I going to assume he is? The opposite of that, right? Because I'm looking at him going, "Well, then if he's calling me black, he looks white. So I mean, that's what I'm gonna have to. That's what he is to me now." You see what I'm saying? So my point is that we didn't go around classifying white people because um, we we didn't have any reason to classify them and categorize them. The ones that had reason and initiative to categorize was the Europeans, who decided to come into the place they call Africa, name it Africa, and then take over every single inch and part of it, and the mineral resources, including the people and including the religion and the spirituality, turned it into their color and then gave it back to us. And so now my point is that when you do that, especially when you start changing someone's God and changing the complexion of someone's God, that person will be not only confused, but they will be indoctrinated in assuming that their color is blasphemous because they're looking at their God and their God does not look like them. So my point is that if somebody kidnapped you, took you away from your family, and then said, you, whatever you worshiped, whatever you thought, whatever it is the opposite now. My point is that after you go through a certain amount of time being force fed, you know, being force fed different and new information, sooner or later you will adjust to that information, and it will be second nature to you. Which hence today we have Black Americans and Mexican or any other dark complected person not only worshiping a god that does not even look like them and is but it's not even from them, but they are also addressing themselves as a name that was given to them as opposed to them naming themselves. So it's like you walk. It's like you a dog. You walk around and you walk around and you're walking around with your master's name, as opposed to you naming yourself or your family naming you. You walk around with your master's name, your owner, your pet owner, little Rex, the dog Rex. So Rex running around just calling himself Rex because that's what his master named him, and that's what his master defined him. But so I'm saying even a dog has enough respect in society to be called a dog as opposed to be called what it looks like. You see, that to me shows the level of respect and the level of disrespect that is and that isn't in regards to how you address something. If you call something just what it looked like, it is showing the lack of respect that you have for what you are addressing. If you call something what it is, you at least are respecting and acknowledging its presence and what it is in its entirety in front of you. You see what I'm saying? So what do you say when you cussing somebody out? You know what I'm saying? You fat motherfucker, right? You fat ass, or you describe them to talk shit to them. You don't just call them what they are. You describe what you think they are to you. That's is the ultimate form of disrespect when you address something. So my point is that the and then the funny thing is too is that we're called minority. Dark people are called minority when, like I said, when if you put together all the dark complected people in this world, not only do we supersede anything else, but we've always been the majority. We've always been the majority. Always. Europe has never exceeded uh, Latin America, North America, or Africa ever. The motherfuckers have never exceeded it ever. Because I'm saying, or even Asia, because Asia dark complected people too. Asia. So at Asia, there's a strong correlation with the sub-Saharan Bushmen and the Asians. And I'm gonna bring you that video real soon too. But there is a strong correlation with the sub-Saharan African and the Asians. So so I'm gonna end it with this. I'm gonna end it with this. Understand that when you call yourself black, Negro, mulatto, whatever, when you call yourself all these names, number one, you're calling yourself something that someone else is describing you as. You are not calling yourself of what you are and who you are. That's number one. Number two, understand that you are a dark man and woman. Black is only the perception of you. Black is only the adjective of you. And understand that uh, 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 that darkness in you. We just explained what darkness does out in space. We just explained what darkness pigment does um, on a molecule atom level in the skin. We just explained how what it does biologically with our pineal gland excreting melanin, which helps creates the nervous system, the immune systems, the brain. So just understand that the reason why they deemed you inferior and call you black is because they don't want to call you what you really are, and that's darkness. But see, darkness is beautiful because what it is absolute energy and the absorption of it. That's what that is. So understand that you are dark. You're not black. I'm not black. So don't call me what you think I look like. Call me for who I am. I'm a dark man, and I'm a Zulu too. Nobody called us Zulus. We call ourselves Zulus. Well, I'm Zulu. That not that I look Zulu. That's why they call us Zulu. No, it's because that's what we are. So call me what I am. Don't call me what I look like. Because if that's what it is, then I'm gonna call you what you look like. So that's why I call y'all Europeans, because that's where y'all from. I call y'all Europeans. But then understand that if you call somebody black, then what they gonna call you? If you call them a color, they're gonna call you a color, because obviously you're addressing people as goddamn colors. My point is that that is a European concept of addressing people. Uh, Black people don't call the black people black, because let's think about it. The beginning of mankind was number of black people, right? It was number of dark people, right? So we're not running around calling each other what we look like. What we did was call each other who we were. So the concept of calling people what they look like came from the Europeans when they decided to categorize and take over the world and categorize everything because they needed to put it in shells. So understand that don't address me as black. I'm dark. I'm Zulu. That's it. I'm not even African. Fuck African. Y'all can take that shit back. I'm not African. I'm unapologetically Zulu and dark. Dark life. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share, do what you got to do. Most importantly, comment down below. Peace.